Hello everybody and welcome back to part 4 of my office studio tour. If you haven't watched them already, go back and watch parts 1, 2, and 3. As I warned you in those, part 4 is going to be probably a little bit longer. Just like in part 1, I'm going to geek out a little bit about some books. And let's get started. So over here in the corner we have, well, a mess. This was the source of our basement flood. Specifically, the line going outside to the water faucet or spigot or whatever you want to call it outside froze well before we bought the house, and neither the seller nor I knew about it until my wife decided to wash the back deck about a month after we bought the house, flooded the basement, and this was part of the end result. What we did was we added some pressure gauges and what's called a PCV, a pressure control valve, because, I don't know how well you can see, but the pressure we get from the street, that is currently 80 psi. It's been known to go up to 90, and we know from our plumber and some simple research, 60 psi is really about the right pressure for your water appliances inside. So that helps. And of course, we have various shutoff valves that we added as well because we're a little afraid of floods right now. Oh, and because I'm a weirdo, I added some labels so that anybody can come in and know how to turn things off. Way back when I was a kid, and I kind of touched on it a little bit with the story behind how I fell in love with reading and Uncle Phil and those old Hardy Boy books, and I got into collecting the Hardy Boy case files, and the case files, kind of in between there, I was looking at comic books. I kind of liked them. Really, the only reason I got them was because they were G.I. Joe, and I really liked G.I. Joe. On the back cover of one of those comics was an ad for a book. It wasn't really the book that I fell in love with, it was the cover art. And it was a crystal shard. And I have to tell you, after seeing that artwork, I knew I had to read the book. So I went out and I got the book. Well, that led to more books because this is part 1. So I had to get number 2. Number 3, the cover was kind of weird, but by then I was hooked on the series. And so when the Crystal Shard came out, that was, as Bob says, where it all began. And I began collecting his books. And as you can see, the collection just grew and grew and grew. And oddly enough, it went to collecting graphic novels, t-shirts, hats, little figures, calendars, campaign guides, audiobooks, video games, multiple copies of the same book, more audiobooks, books written by other people, weird books that he wrote that are hard to find. I joined his fan club. I even joined the internet. And even sent emails to Bob. And once upon a time, I was lucky enough to sit down and, with a group of other fans, have some dinner, drinks, and just talk to him like a normal person. Even though I was in complete awe of being in the presence with my hero. Now, with all of these books, you might wonder, what's my favorite? Well, The Crystal Shard holds a special place for me just because of it was the start, it was the beginning of my love of reading R.A. Salvatore books. More so because it was the beginning of my love of reading fantasy books. Prior to that, I'd never really read any fantasy books. So The Crystal Shard holds a special place for me in that sense. But my favorite R.A. Salvatore book is not The Crystal Shard. So my favorite Salvatore book is The Woods Out Back. And for me, it's because Gary Ledger is so much like R.A. Salvatore in many, many ways. You can feel how much of himself he put into writing this book. And on top of that, it's just a good book. Okay, I tried really hard not to geek out and talk way too much about my love of R.A. Salvatore. So we will leave it at that and move along to two other items here. Yes, another Star Wars poster, but more importantly is this map. So the reason that map is important to me and why it's in my office is very similar to why the desk is important to me. So bear with me a minute here. The previous owner to this house was the original owner to the house, and he lived here with his wife. And his wife died in a car accident in the mid-1980s, and he's since lived here by himself. He rented it out for a short time, and then he sold it to us. And he left some things behind when he sold the house to us. And it was important to me to keep some of those things because I wanted to keep the spirit of the previous owners alive, in that I know this place was important to them. It's important to us as a family. It's our house. We live here. So I felt the need to keep that memory alive of the previous owners. But anyway, he left a few things behind, and some are more important than others. But let's just go take a look at what he left behind. He left behind a safe, and no, he didn't leave anything in it. He left behind some paint. He left behind this massive workbench. He was going to sell the bar, but we ended up buying it and leaving it here because we liked it so much. In fact, we had our first meal in our house here at the bar. Come on, Neil, let's get it straight.